All right. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing, everyone? Happy Friday. We're taking a look at NASDAQ as always. Not much to update here from yesterday. NQ pretty much still just kind of churning through this big area of resistance. Fresh all-time high has not yet been made. All-time high is 68.5. So about 20 or so points away from that all-time high. We'll see if it's going to be made this morning, see if it's going to be made today or not. If we're going to get the rejection of this resistance zone. But as far as the game plan for this morning, very similar to exactly what we did yesterday. I want to see how price is going to be responding to pretty much that the purple zone there, resistance zone that you can see on the charts between 24K and 68.5. So you got the 000 up into 68.5. That is it. Just a lot of consolidation overnight. For the most part, NQ stayed within this structure here from yesterday. If we look at yesterday's RTH chart, you had a late day kind of choppy range set up there with 24K holding us support. And most of the overnight action, I say about 95% of the overnight action is within that structure. So that gives us a good prior day structure to work with for today's session. Like to see how that prior day high is treated. Pretty straightforward though. We do have MCS at 10 a.m., so that is something to keep an eye on. I'm also going to be looking at volume today. As always, I want to see if we actually have some audience in the market for today. We do have FOMC next week. So let's see. Let's see right off the bat how we open up. We got about 2 minutes till the open. Backdrop is neutral bullish. For long at 24K, well, we're currently above 24K. So we'll have to see how the action looks if price gets back down into that area. Our nearest reference points right now are going to be the prior day high and overnight high. So let's see how this open looks. We can kind of take it from there. MCS Friday, typically, I'm typically cash first 30 at least. So we'll see if we even get an entry. Past 2 days have been no trade days, unfortunately. But as always, just working with whatever the market gives me. Can't force it. Can't force anything. Although no trade days really make the review easier. Not much to do on a no trade day. Session volume point of control is at 21.5. All right, there's your push into the overnight high and almost an all-time high. There's that all-time high level at 68.5. Good volume off the open. Rescale this chart a little. There we go. There it is. So far, just a little look above that overnight high. Into the lows. See if that ends up being a nice up thrust into volume point of control. Opening 5-minute bar still has 2 minutes on it. How do I set the volume point of control? It's built in. The indicator does that. It's just volume profile indicator. It's a little consolidation here beneath prior day high, overnight high. So at this point, looking for that reaction into 24K. So far, we've seen an up thrust at the overnight high with a rejection of the all-time high. Want to notate the volume there. Very low. NQ, new low of day. Getting into 24K. that fails, you're looking at overnight low. So there's your true test there. See how it starts to look. See if buyers like it or not. A little uptick in volume as well. It's helpful. Pretty much no bid there at 24K. $24.08. Yeah, close enough. Close enough. I think I probably have that on the high from, let's see. Yeah, it's right there here. So usually I'll just find like an anchor point on the chart and then just round to whatever the nearest kind of, usually go for the double or triple zero if I can. If not, it would be like round to the nearest quarter, like 25, 50, 75, or double zero. She keeps it simple. Simple and easy for my brain. But it shouldn't make too much of a difference, to be honest. 8 points. RTY session highs. Is that the overnight high there? RTY? No. Way off the overnight high. RTY. ES catching a little bit of a bid. NQ session volume point of control steps lower. I hate this volume here. Can we get some volume in this market? Opening 15-minute bar is about to close in about 4 minutes. Currently pretty bearish here in the resistance zone. Sellers definitely don't want to see this 24K holding. They're looking for the flush right now. Very small overnight gap. Looks like it filled. Yeah, prior day close, pretty much right at 24K, give or take. So this is still price still within that prior day structure right through here. A little retest of VWAP. Pretty slow open. Seems to be the theme as of late anyway. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. Opening 15-minute bar should be closing up here shortly. Let's see. RTY is right back in a session lows. Last 1 minute push on that 15-minute bar really changes the shape of it, huh? That's why you want to do that analysis once the candle is actually closed. See if it closes as a doji. And Q just kind of holding on to that prior day structure. There's RTY into overnight low. And opening 15-minute bar pretty much more or less closes as a doji, right? So indecision there. We got a bounce versus 24K. See if the prior day high is going to trade now. Volume's just terrible. Volume's awful. And 15 minutes till MCS. 15 till the old MCS. It's usually market moving. So let's see if we get some juice. A little volatility. RTY maybe setting up the spring. Volume's just there's nothing there. Yeah, RTY, beautiful spring setup right there. I don't really trade RTY, but that looks amazing. So far, you have the initial move lower, little overnight high up thrust. You got the bounce versus 24K. Sellers are hoping this can confirm as a lower high. ES not really doing anything. Just kind of sideways now as we get into 10 a.m. About 10 minutes till 10 a.m. Choppy, choppy. So a little consolidation here near session volume point of control and VWAP. Volume well below average. And data in 6 minutes. Don't recommend gambling through MCS. It's the range today. 60 points this morning. 60 yoints so far. All right, that's a little more interesting right there. A bit more interesting. Just shy of prior day high. ES new high of day. Okay. 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 A little uptick in volume too. Do we have something hit the tapes there? The feeds? See how this overnight high, prior day high area is going to be treated. They had two decent opportunities so far this morning. Overnight high up thrust, 24K long. ES session highs. In a tough spot here personally. So I've got some decent positioning. Coming into MCS, I'm going to find the exit before MCS. Trail's just sitting at 28 right now. But we'll definitely exit all if the trail doesn't get hit a few seconds before MCS. I still have PTSD from that time on stream. I had a position deep in profit. That was a nice Friday. It was deep in profit and held just runners through MCS and ended up eating like, I think it was like 30 or 40 points of slippage on the trail. Not worth it. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. But that was a 24K long idea. Pretty basic. Looks like a little bit of a rejection here at prior day high now. And I've got less than a minute to find the exit on this thing. I'm going to go ahead and lift the trail. We'll go 30.75 if it's taken out right here. I don't really like to hold a position through MCS. There we go. Just going to trail a little tighter. We'll try out 40. And I've got 20 seconds, so we'll trail 42. One more little, oh, I've got 9 seconds. I'm out of this thing. We're out. We're out. We're out. All right, let's see MCS now. Looks like I made the right call, at least so far. Happy with that. Okay, okay. So game plan remains the same. We're looking at either, I mean, we're just in a tough spot here. Price is in a tough spot. We're still in this resistance zone. I don't like this location personally. It's why honestly why the past 2 days have been no trade days. I need a break of this zone. I mean, clearly because price is still holding up here. Buyers are doing a good job absorbing a lot of the supply in this area, but I need a clear break of this zone just per my framework, or just a rejection. Like, get out of this, get out of this pivot. So just staying nimble, as I like to say. Trailing tight, being extra cautious with how I pick my spots. MCS gives us an uptick in volume, but overall that's a pretty muted reaction to MCS as far as price action is concerned. Price did not even leave the opening 30-minute range here. Speaking of the opening 30-minute range, opening 30-minute bar closed as a doji. So you have more indecision there. Not a lot of clarity with a doji bar on the higher time frames. But this is overall, it is choppy. Choppy and slow. movement has been wild. I'd say it's choppy. I don't think it's very wild. And Q still here. Prior day high, overnight high. We'll look above overnight high again. Not much to do here. Not much to do. That's why that relative volume is a big part of my process for filtering trades. If it's below average, and in this case, like 50% of average, y- you can still have a move, but it's just less likely, far less likely. ES, new high of day. Does he show trade executions? I'm right here, man. And yeah, I do. There you go. Look back, I think it's a 5-day. Pretty sure it's a 5-day. 5-day, same time of day. That's the key, same time of day. NQ coming into session highs. Will we get another entry, or is it going to be a one and done? I'm just happy to have a trade this morning. Past 2 days, no trade day. Volume looks like just eyeballing it about 40-50% of average. All right, no new high of day made. Little rollover here. How's everyone's morning? How are we doing? Red, what'd you trade? What was the play? Ray, no trade day? We got volume coming in. Entry on the higher low. We got a weird wick. Hate that. Absolutely hate that. Was that on micros or something? Sometimes MNQ doesn't match totally well. Oh yeah. If I had to guess, I would say that's probably accurate. Yeah. Damn. Sometimes in those situations it can be helpful to keep a little bit of a wider buffer. So MNQ does have a little more tendency to wick compared to NQ anyway. NQ into VWAP, probably session volume point of control. Hang on. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. What'd I miss? Doesn't look like anything. A nice push from VWAP right there. There's a decent little bounce. Session volume, point of control, VWAP, a little uptick in volume. Definitely an improvement there. We're back in overnight high, prior day high area. Overall, though, take a look at that 15-minute. Showing a lot of barcode, right? Sam, pass your TPT eval. Congrats, man. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That's huge. All right, NQ new high of day. All-time highs right there. All-time highs. That's a nice push. Very nice push. So NQ, let's see how this all-time high is going to be treated. Rich have a runner from VWAP. Nice. Good entry. Runner from VWAP. Solid. Solid. I'm cash. Just the one trade this morning so far from 24K. That was a nice re-entry at VWAP. Yes, sir, Ray. I was just thinking that. We need to see if this all-time high is going to hold or not. NASDAQ, just a little consolidation near the highs here. $70-point range today. Yes, it's been a fairly slow week. That's for sure. Today, I'm just happy to have one trade. Past 2 days have been no trade days. Just happy to have that long from 24K. There was a little re-entry there. I had VWAP, session volume, point and control. Probably would have taken that with the props if I was not literally off the desk at that time. That's about all that we've seen this morning. You had the up thrust right off the open. Nice push here. So at this stage of the game, NQ likely entering some price discovery with all-time highs being made. I'll be looking for upside continuation. I think we had our fib extensions up into 150, 200 area there. For fib extension targets, like I said, NQ just in price discovery mode. If the previous all-time high at 68 can hold, what I'm going to be looking for now is a retest into the all-time high for a potential entry. Let's see if we can get our retracements going. There we go. Yeah. So right now with the current session high, that's your shallow fib. Not my favorite. So that's the main watch here. I'm going to go ahead and call it a morning for the stream and the personal account. We just did the one trade at 24K. Not bad. Nothing amazing there, about 40 points. But past 2 days have been no trade days, so I'll definitely take that. Next week, we have streams on Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday. I'm taking off. So Wednesday, the 17th through the 26th, no streams for about a week and a half, FYI. Hope you guys had a good morning. Hope you guys had a good week. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank here for the rest of the day. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday. Thanks for your time and have a great weekend.